Hello to everyone in the internet, and you are watching Young Globalist. Alright, dudes and dudettes, it's time. Time for your free independent news from me. That's Vin and Sori in the background, you can see him on the TV. Watch yourself some Vin and Sori, good stuff. Alright, so Antifa has recently targeted Tucker Carlson's home. Well, it's not the main group Antifa, it's like a subgroup called Smash Racism DC. Apparently they think Tucker Carlson's racist, so they targeted his home. Yeah. So, Smash Racism DC, I misspoke before, they're a Antifa-style group. But they're basically just terrorists. Antifa are terrorists. I guess Antifa ended up inspiring several smaller groups in their general style. And people today don't know what real racism is. They weren't there in the South when there was the cotton pickers. They weren't there in the South when there was black slaves. They weren't there when the Irish were being hated on. And they weren't there when the Jews were rounded up and executed. So they don't know what real racism is. They don't even know it. They think racism is just a bunch of mean words and an institutionalized system of power. Always redefining things to suit their agenda. That's the left for you. I sincerely hope that Tucker Carlson is safe, that he wasn't harmed. He was home at the time, and they showed up and they demanded he get out of town. You know, rush him out, Old West style. They should all be locked away for a good while, for arson, for threats and assault and harassment. They're just terrorists, and they don't know what real racism is. They're idiots. Tucker Carlson, please be safe wherever you are. Apparently they probably burned his house to the... once they targeted his house, they probably burned it down. What do you want to bet? We don't have any specific information that goes into that level of detail. We just know that they were targeted and they attacked him. Knocking on the door, ringing his bell, threatening him. A big mob. A big mob of them behind it. They don't know what real racism is. They're just a bunch of dumb fuck ignorant kids who don't know what the hell they're doing. Anyway, Mr. Carlson, please be safe. Moving on. Lucy Mcbath, however the hell you say that, Mcbath. I'm going to say Mcbath. Lucy Mcbath is a Democratic gun safety activist. She somehow managed to win Georgia, a deeply red state, very Republican, and somehow she manages to win there. I believe it was Congress. She got to be a congressperson. Congress, as how I feel about it. But yeah, she somehow won Congress in a Republican state, being a Democrat. Amazing. Now, she's doing what many Democrats do, and she uses her son, a 17-year-old who was a victim of the Parkland shooting and died there. This is what the left does. It uses tragedy to justify poor legislation and gun control. They know that if they can get sympathy from people, they'll be more likely to vote for gun control bills. Typical use of tragedy for manipulation. Just like how lefties that are racist use the tragedy of the Holocaust to promote anti-white racism that they use. It's the same tactic. Just take a tragedy and reuse it in order to get some legislation or some cultural idea passed on. The left are excellent manipulators. They know what they're doing. And in the case of gun control, it's frequently unconstitutional. But you know what? Republican, Democrat, they both find ways to violate the Constitution. Democrats more than Republicans, but they both do it. Passing what is essentially an illegal bill because the Constitution is not in support of it. It contradicts it, but they do it anyway. Mind you, I am not without sympathy for Mrs. Mcbath. I am not without heart. Her son was brutally shot and murdered at Parkland. But gun control is not the solution. Because that's only going to create more tragedies. This is what happens when you perform an action purely by its nature, claiming this is a good action, therefore only good results can come of it, what is traditionally seen as good, which is bad. Gun control is bad. The road to hell is paved with bad intentions. The consequences of gun control make it a bad action, not a good action. And this manipulation is pathetic. Stop lying to people to get illegal, unconstitutional bills passed. And no, it is not lying, but it is using a tragedy. It is manipulation, and therefore akin to lying. Moving on. Trump has fired Jeff Sessions. He has removed Jeff Sessions from, I think it was Attorney General. Yeah. You know, Mr. Jeff Sessions, the guy who kept pushing the drug war. And then just a general piece of work. Oh, it has begun. The House of Representatives has started investigating and interfering with Trump's administration. They've begun pushing investigations and shit. Yep, they went and lost their minds and started doing that stupid shit. You know, when you get in the way of a policeman's investigation or a policeman's job, it's called obstructing an officer. Shouldn't there be a law about obstructing a president, which is exactly what they're doing? Now they're investigating and shit. He fires Jeff Sessions, which I believe he has the authority to do, and then of course that thing it gives them just a Democratic House of Reps, gives them a false justification to begin investigating Trump. I'm pretty sure he has that authority. In fact, getting rid of Jeff Sessions was a good thing, because he both aided and pushed that simply immoral and ultimately very harmful drug war that was started by Richard Nixon. I mean, you got things like SWAT teams thinking they found pot at someone's house, someone's growing pot, and it just turned out to be okra. You don't even know what the fucking plant looks like. The drug war is just stupid. You should really look into it. There's a lot of idiocy behind it. Not only that, but it's just a fucking plant. It's none of the government's business if someone wants to get high or not. I want the government out of my bedroom, out of my life, and out of my bloodstream. None of their fucking business. Government is infrastructure for society. That's it. They are legal and financial infrastructure. Everything else is out of bounds. Oh, but don't worry, Democrats. Your precious Mueller probe is fine. Your precious Mueller probe won't be messed with because Trump has nothing to fear from it. Because he has done nothing wrong. He did not collude with Russia. You're just being butthurt because he lost the election. And that's what an 8-year run of Trump is going to do. It's just going to show that Democrats are butthurt because they didn't win. The mule probe won't find shit. If it finds anything, that's about what it'll find. It'll find literal feces. He can fire Sessions if he wants. He's the president. He has that authority. They're talking about it creates a constitutional problem. It's like, really? Your gun control bills cause a constitutional problem. Like the aforementioned issue of Miss Mcbath. Second Amendment. It literally says shall not be violated. Or shall not be infringed. So you want to talk about constitutional problems? Trump has actually has done it in any way. Trump has not in any way violated the Constitution yet, not even once. He's actually been amazing for this country's infrastructure. He's putting us in the green financially. Sure, occasionally he makes a few dumb mistakes, but no one's perfect. And his firing of Jeff Sessions is a good thing. Getting rid of us, essentially someone who insists on drug prohibition and unfair sentences. Not only that, but there's plenty of rumors suggesting that Sessions was grossly incompetent. And while true, those are only rumors, and rumors are not necessarily grounds for firing someone, but you gotta understand the guy's reputation. Which is probably why the Democrats loved him, because he was just as dirty as they were. It's all just butthurt for losing the election. It's nonsense. And the Democratic House of Reps investigating going after Trump like this, after his firing of Jeff Sessions, is just more butthurt. President exercises his authority and everyone starts to panic. Ugh. I am fucking done with the Democratic Party. Starve the beast. Moving on. Elon Musk is being replaced as Tesla's chairman by Robin Denholm as part of a settlement with U.S. business regulators. Apparently, he must have been a naughty boy. Yeah, my sources didn't really specify what exactly he did, but apparently U.S. regulators got a little pissy with him over something, and now he's being replaced as chairman by Robin Denholm. Robin, R-O-B-Y-N, a chairwoman. Chairwoman Robin Denholm. I just hope this wasn't because of feminism and wanting representation and all that bullshit. That's all I hope. I hope this was something more legitimate than that. As to the future of Tesla Motors, I hope Tesla is finally the answer to carbon emissions. Now see, I do not believe in man-made global warming. Global warming is a natural process which will inevitably lead to another ice age. This is my firm belief, and it is based on some very, somewhat underground but still corroborated scientific data. However, carbon emissions, while they do not cause global warming, do make the air very harmful to breathe. Because the air becomes full of carbon dioxide, which is poisonous. Like, technically, if you listen to science, oxygen is poisonous, actually. The very thing where our lungs are designed to process is actually poisonous. Our lungs are supposed to filter out the good from the bad and all that, but we can't do that with carbon dioxide. It just fills our lungs and kind of hangs out in there and makes it impossible for us to breathe. You know, and so cars are filling the air with stuff we can't breathe and slowly killing us. So if we replaced all cars with electric cars, then we won't be fouling up the air with poisonous gases. A trace amount of carbon dioxide is supposed to be in the air. I mean, that's what we produce every time we exhale. We release the carbon dioxide from our lungs, the trees take that and turn it back into more oxygen. So putting extra carbon dioxide in the air is obviously going to foul it up and cause it to become poisonous for us. So electric cars are a must. So I just hope that Miss Denholm, or Mrs. Denholm as it were, stays the course and keeps Tesla in its very positive direction. And whatever Elon Musk did, I hope that, this settlement doesn't wreck him. If he can still be part of the company and help the goal moving forward. Moving on. The U.S. stock market has taken a hit since the midterms. Unlike the Asian market, which actually grew, the U.S. stock market has taken a hit due to the midterms. And stock marketeers are going to be losing from anywhere from 7.2 to 14.5 growth, with Monster Energy losing profit to Coca-Cola, because Coke is developing their own competing energy drink product. I don't know what it's called. Probably something screwy, because Coca-Cola now has some of the shall we say most creative names for their products. So yeah, a 7.2 to 14.5 financial loss on the stock market. Ouch. That is fairly modest by modern standards. Yeah, the midterms really can screw you up if depending on what your investments are. You need to be careful what you invest in, folks, if you're an investor. Make sure your money goes to someplace safe. Don't blow it all in an insecure investment. Don't just try and sail on with dumb luck. Moving on. Brian Kemp was the opponent to what's her face, the black governancy candidate. I can't remember her name right at the moment. I should have put it down in my notes. Shit. Anyway, Brian Kemp. Apparently, it's said that his campaign was kind of dirty, but we just never really knew how dirty until this came out. He posted private information of 300,000 absentee voters. I guess as a way to punish them for not voting for him or just not voting at all. Wow, dude. Wow. Two questions. One, how the hell did he get that information? And two, why? That is a new level of bitter. His opponent, the black lady, she was apparently being supported by the new Black Panther Party. Or at least they wanted to support her, whether she wanted them to support her or not. Can't remember her name right at the moment. But anyways, her opponent, if I was living in that state, I'd vote Democrat. I can't believe I just said that. Wow, Brian Kemp, wow. Lunatic. Moving on. A Texas judge has decided to release a bunch of juvenile defendants after losing re-election. I would say that was probably like a revenge move for losing his opponent or something. That's one possibility. Another possibility is that he was just, well, I guess that's really the only possibility. Is that he released a bunch of them after a brief review of their case, and their case is going to be up for a review. But I guess he released a bunch of them probably just to screw the state for him losing to his opponent. It's amazing how our politics these days are just full of people who are bitter and butthurt about everything. Good grief. I'll do you folks a favor and I'll try to remember what who Brian Kemp's opponent was. I'm trying to remember her name. Let's see, where was it? Reference my sources here so I can remember. So I'm amazing with faces, but I'm terrible with names. I just can't remember names most of the time. Hold on. But I remember she was being supported by the new Black Panthers. Sorry about this. This obviously makes me look very grossly incompetent. I just can't remember names worth a damn. Where was she? Where was she? Stacey Abrams. There you go. Stacey Abrams. Brian Kemp, Stacey Abrams. That's right. Anyway, folks, that's it for your un-globalist news. Tschüss.